Hey everybody, it's Trucker Chad. I am still in Texas on a dedicated route. I had a comment on a YouTube video, I believe, about how to stay positive during those first few trying months when you're learning everything, when you're right at the beginning. Myself, I believe Trucker Wayne, we've discussed it that the first few months of you getting into trucking are going to be difficult because you're learning a lot. You're at the bottom of the ladder. You're getting the lowest pay, and it's going to be tough. And we talk about being positive a lot, and we talk about maintaining an outlook. I myself had some issues when I first started. I was issued a truck that kept ending up in the shop, and it was a trying time, and I wasn't making as much money as some of my co-workers and some of my friends from school. But I kept a good attitude, and I stayed positive, and I didn't jump ship at the first sign of trouble. That's the first thing I want to say is don't jump ship at the first sign of trouble, because that says more about you than the company you're working for. And I'd have to say, anytime you are having some sort of an issue, you really need to stop and take a look at yourself first. Make sure it's not you that's the problem. A lot of people like to deflect their own shortcomings onto their company or to other people, but stop and take a look at yourself, evaluate yourself. Trucker Wayne did a good video about how to be a good driver. Make sure your attitude's in check. Make sure you're being positive. But how do you maintain a level of positivity during the first 3 to 6 months when it can be the toughest, which it is. It can be a challenge. The best thing I could tell you is just to keep your eye on the prize. Keep an eye on the big picture. Yes, you may be having an issue right now, or maybe you're struggling. Maybe you're not making as much money because of one reason or another. Don't give up. Don't jump ship. Get through it. Learn from the mistakes. Learn from the difficult times. Make every day a lesson. Something that you learn from, and grow from that. Become a better driver, and you can actually turn your hardships and mistakes into wisdom that you can pass on to newer drivers. And so stay positive, but keep your eye on the big picture. You've got a goal. We all have long-term goals. I'd like to own my own truck and be a contractor, but my short-term goal was to get through my first year. I wanted my school paid for. I did not want to have to pay the thousands and thousands of dollars that I would be responsible for if I jumped ship at the first sign of trouble. So my first goal, my short-term goal, was to get through my first year with one company and finish that year successfully, and then get that school paid for, and then I can reevaluate my situation. So you're gonna have hard times, you're gonna have difficulties, you're gonna make mistakes, but just keep your eye on the big picture. A year is not a very long time, and it goes by really quick, and that should be the first thing you concentrate on. You have some long-term goals. Making money, yeah, that's a great goal, but learn. Your short-term goal should be to learn and to grow and to just get through your first year. So keep your eye on the prize, keep your eye on the big picture, stay positive, and turn everything into a learning experience. That's all I have to say for now. For Driver Solutions, for PAM Transport, I'm Trucker Chad. As always, I'm available for questions, and feel free to message me anytime you like. Take care.